Tropang Giga now just one win away from returning to the finals of the PBA Philippine Cup. TNT now leads San Miguel Beermen in the semis 3-2 after the Tropang Giga claimed yet another blowout victory in Game 5 to regain the series lead. TNT led by as many as 28 points before taking the win here, 110-90. 6 TNT players scored in double figures. Jason Castro led the way with 19 points to go along with 8 assists. The Tropang Giga also got a huge reinforcement in the match. Big man Kelly Williams finally returned after missing the first 4 games of the series due to the PBA's health and safety protocols. TNT also fielded Poy Aram, whose status for the game had been in doubt after he fractured a cheekbone in Game 4 over the weekend. Meantime, the Meralco Bolts live to fight another day as they extend their series with the Magnolia Hotshots. Meralco won Game 5, 102-98, surviving what had been Magnolia's first shot at closing out their best-of-7 tilt and advancing to the championship round. The Bolts saw a power surge from 3 of their players. Alain Maliksi drained 7 out of 8 three-pointers en route to a team-high 29 points. Nard Pinto added 24 markers, while Chris Newsom tallied 23. Magnolia still leads this series, though, 3-2. And now joining us for an all-out breakdown of the PBA semis is none other than basketball analyst Juan Banal. Juan is back. Good morning, brother. How are you doing?
Hey, good morning, Andre. Good morning, everyone.
Looking good, ah. Ganda ng tulog mo, ah. Juan?
Saya ng semis eh.
Grabe, no? Grabe talaga yung mga prediction natin, Juan. Pero, it's always a treat. More basketball for the fans. Let's talk about the San Miguel versus TNT first. Unahin na natin yon. Grabe, tambakan na naman. Juan, yung Game 5. TNT, lumamang sila as many as 28 points, nabanggit ko nga before taking the win by 20. What did you see? How did they do this? And what went right for TNT? And what went wrong for San Miguel? Again here, parang may trend. I don't know if it's just me. Game 1, 3-5 TNT. Game 2, 4 San Miguel. So 6 ba? I'll talk about the game first last night.
You were actually making that prediction, Andre. You were saying it's going to be an alternating trend, and tides would have turned if SMB changed that routine if they won. But like I said, and we said this over and over in our conversation, that it is a chess match when it comes to the semifinals. You have Coach Leo Austria and Coach Shot Reyes up against each other, and it is a real-life, human-sized chess match that we're seeing. And just TNT, it's they hit the ground running as soon as the ball was thrown up in the air. Just played two-way basketball, superb two-way basketball, exploited the lacks in the defensive end of San Miguel. They were able to score, their points from turnover was 21-10 in favor of TNT. That's a testament to how they played well on defense and turned that into offense. And then their threes also were just off the charts. They had 14 three-pointers, and then defensively, they were able to limit San Miguel to just 4 out of 25 from the outside. So they just gave SMB different looks, like pick and rolls, you've got Pogoy posting up, you've got fast breaks led by different players. It's just, showcasing a wide array of offensive prowess, which we felt like, Coach Shot was always talking about all conference long how they play superb team defense, right? He would boast about their ability to play defense, but I think their offense was barely mentioned. It was underrated, but it's really very potent. I mean, you saw guys and we talked about Kelly Williams and Poy Aram playing together, what that can bring and the look that it can bring. And then you've got guys like Jason Castro and now Mikey Williams also playing well. They just all clicked at the right time. And that first half, man, that scary first half for the TNT offense.
You know what? Yeah, you said it. You were on point with just your opening statement there, Juan. TNT really looked scary. Like, in my opinion, we all talk about San Miguel and how potent they are, but TNT, man, having their bigs back, I didn't expect Poy to play after that injury. But last time we spoke, hindi natin nga alam kung makakalaro ba si Poy Aram at si Kelly Williams for TNT ng sabay dito sa Game 5, Juan. But lo and behold, eto silang dalawa. They both saw action in this match. How do you think did this change the dynamic for TNT, the series, And having two bigs at the same time, and one can, actually both can stretch the floor because they can hit outside shots. As, in evidence, Poy Aram hitting those outside shots.
Andre, this semifinals with both Meralco and Magnolia and then SMB and TNT, it's got everything that you need. Like, we've been waiting for basketball to really, be on our television sets again and just watching it. And we're getting the fullness of it, the entire drama. You've got cliffhangers, and you get blindsided by things. And Poy Aram playing is one of those things that we didn't expect to happen. We were talking about how bad the fall was, and the injury, how it really, we felt it. We felt the pain through the screens, and then all of a sudden, we were wishfully hoping that Poy would play, and then apparently he does play, and so we get all the more excited. So all that drama we're witnessing in this semifinal series for both sets. And defensively, we talked about this. We hypothetically were saying it would have been good to have Kelly and Poy, playing together, because that can match up against the Junmar in the Motao 2 front line of San Miguel. And we saw that. And, they were able to limit Motao 2 to just 10 points. And we talked about the ability for Kelly to have a different impact on the ball game when he's playing on the floor offensively, because he's more of a pick and roll type of player, big. And then you've got Poy Aram, who's more of a pick and pop. And so defensively, if you're San Miguel, you have to be able to pick up the pace and adjust right there and then. That you can't stick to one game plan, because TNT was so efficient in throwing you different looks and different styles and different attacks to the basket, that SMB was always a step behind. And having those two bigs playing simultaneously, I think really, made a whole lot of difference.
Yeah. Well, it really did. And it was evident in the numbers. In leading, of course, pinag-usapan natin yung bigs. But how about, Tropang Giga being led here by, once he was named the best point guard in Asia, Jason Castro, the Blur, 19 points para dito kay Jason. He also dished out 8 assists. Here are his numbers right now on our screens. 48% from the field, 6 for 13. Also had 3 boards in 26 minutes of play. Played a really crucial role here in the fourth quarter to really stop, that San Miguel rally. Because at one point, iisipin mo babalik at babalik yung San Miguel. But Jason really, took matters to his own hands, shutting that comeback down. Talk about the value of, having a tested and proven Jason Castro for Coach Chot Reyes for TNT here in the playoffs.
We mentioned that there's just so much, flavor and drama around this series. That includes off the court, stories like Jason Castro's wife giving birth. It's the same case that we're going to be talking about when we talk about Magnolia with Mark Baroka. But he is playing inspired. He has a new baby. People counted him out. He said, Jason's probably taking a backseat now. You've got Mikey Williams. You've got Pogoy now stepping out. They're now taking the reins for TNT. And then here comes the trusting Coach Chot Reyes in his main guy, in Jason Castro. And, the thing with Jason is that he's been here so many times before. And he knows, being a veteran, he knows when he's needed, when he needs to step back and allow his, the younger guys to actually put their best foot forward. And he knows what it takes. He knows when he needs to start scoring or when he needs to create plays for his teammates. And we saw that he shot 6 out of 13, which is below his average, which is above his average attempts in this conference. Plus, he's got 8 assists. He always, it's always good to have someone who wants to take over and who can actually take over when needed, especially at the game where it could have dictated the course of the entire series. Imagine if San Miguel won. We might be having a different conversation today to who and the possibility of San Miguel closing it out. But Jason Castro knew that his number was called, and he needed to step up and add to the fact that he just had a new baby. Imagine how boosted his morale is, and he delivered.
Mukhang ganadong-ganado eh. Well, Game 6 is tomorrow.
Iba.
Iba yung nilalaro niya. Keys to winning, Juan, for both TNT and San Miguel. Go right at it.
Well, we expect SMB to adjust. That's for sure, right? But
for sure.
I think the crucial part here is the amount of time that is given to them to adjust. We talked about San Miguel will have to depend a lot on the relationships and feeling each other and trusting each other. TNT was very tactical. They were very strategic with their approaches. And given the dynamics of the game of last game, wherein TNT really exploited the defensive lapses of SMB, it will entail a tactical adjustment from SMB. And if given the time, obviously the coaching staff can only do so much. It will boil down to the level of the players on how they will tactically adjust for this coming game. TNT, we talked about their defense, and then obviously they showed us we're just not a one-way dimensional team. We're a two-dimensional team, and we can play defense and we can play offense. And this will take a one-team San Miguel. Not a San Miguel team with talented players. No, it has to take one team to beat TNT now with how strategic they have been all conference long. So we saw TNT just play cohesively. They're a well-oiled machine. And SMB will have to match up with that.
Well, for sure. Naka-check na dahil one win na lang ang TNT and then they close out and move on to the finals. Well, one, stay where you are. We still have a lot to discuss, my friend. We'll be back after a quick break. We'll talk about the other semifinal matchup. We take a look at Meralco's fight back in Game 5 against Magnolia. But for now, we still have with us basketball analyst Juan Banal. Juan, Meralco lives to fight another day after another day after the Friday, and then natalo sila Game 4, then winning Game 5 against Magnolia. Binabati mo kasi, Juan
Ikaw ang sabi ko sa'yo, di ko alam kung tatawagan ka pa ni Coach Chito.
Patay tayo. Juan, how did Meralco do it considering they were down by as many as 11 points early on in the game? When that was happening, honestly, I thought, ay wala na to. Tapos na to. It would be done.
Yeah. Well, Magnolia, we're not taking away anything from Magnolia because they did play a good game. Like that's a typical Magnolia that we saw.
Yeah.
But we saw a different Meralco who played exceptionally better than Magnolia, and it started with Alain Maliksi. He set the tone, and I think he reciprocated the trust. And Coach Norman Black knew what they needed, right? We spoke about this, Andre, in our last conversation, that it's the outside shooting. We know that they can let it rain. And if Meralco can find ways to get their guys open, I think that will really give Magnolia a hard time. And that's exactly what we saw in this game. Just giving Alain the green light to let it fly. And, it starts with a lot of shooters because they get their shooting streak from their confidence, once they get that first basket. And Coach Norman started even earlier by giving Alain that confidence by putting him in the starting five. He didn't disappoint. His ability to shoot from the outside, he was just lights out in that game. But for me personally, I think the X factor for this entire series is Nards Pinto. It's Nards Pinto. He has been great. And this is something that we shouldn't be surprised about because of how he came out when we witnessed him coming out in this conference. He changed his physique. Like, he was committed. He lost a lot of weight. He looked very prepared for this conference.
Conditioning.
And that body transformation, diba? What did you expect? He really came out to play. And Meralco had those adjustments. Right? They traded out si Baser Amer, and then they had Aaron Black also is injured, and Nards just confidently stepped into that role, and he filled the shoes. They were down the first quarter, won the second quarter, and then limited Magnolia to this 14 points in the third quarter, and then closed it out in the fourth quarter with 33 points. And take note, that was without Chris Newsome in most of the fourth quarter. So it started by beating Magnolia, I think, in their game, which was the rebounding category. Meralco had 46 rebounds in that ball game. Magnolia had only 43. And we spoke about this series could have ended early, and we expected it to end early with the exit of Raymond Almazan because of his injury. And then, surprise, he's back and scoring a near double-double with 10 rebounds. And we talked about how important Raymond Almazan is to that Meralco rotation. And we felt, saddened by the fact that he's not going to be part of this series again, wherein he's definitely needed.
Well, nabanggit nga natin, Alain Maliksi just shooting the lights out, draining 7 out of 7 three-pointers, that is, en route to 29 points. Tapos si Nards nga, Pinto, grabe si Nards, 24 points. Chris Newsome, 23. Pero ito yung gusto kong tanungin sa'yo. Ayan yung mga numbers on our screens. Alain with 29, Nards with 24, Newsome with 23. Pero the rest of Meralco, just 26 points. Is this alarming? Should this be alarming for Meralco? And is this something that they have to address considering nanalo naman sila kahapon?
Yeah. I think both teams are kind of maxed out, with their players, with their main players. You can see it in the number of minutes that the main guys, the starting 5, up to the 6th or 7th man of each team, played roughly around 33 minutes for these 6 to 7 guys. So the main guys have definitely, are being stretched in this series. It's a long semifinal series, mind you. It's a 7-game series. And I think for Meralco, the main guys took the challenge, said, it's going to be on our shoulders. If we exit tonight, at least we know that we gave a fighting chance and we took it upon ourselves to lead the team. But bilog ang bola sa basketball. And you do expect that fatigue will set in. It is just human nature. And I think, to your point, it should be the rest of the guys now to step up, because it's the main guys that gave them another day to fight. Now, to force a rubber match, they would need guys like Cliff Hodge, Mac Bello, Anjo Caram, Bong Quinto, and Reynel Hugnatan to turn it up and play excellently, expecting that guys like Nards, Alain Maliksi, and Chris Newsome are going to be marked men. They won't be able to repeat the same things that they were able to do in the last game. They won't be getting those open shots again. So for that to happen, these other guys should step up.
Well, for sure. Mag-a-adjust yan si Coach Chito. He is a great defensive mind. Juan, bago natin ituloy ang ating usapan about Meralco Magnolia, first, let's find out the answer to our quiz question of the day. The question I asked was, Alain Maliksi is one of 5 Meralco players who have won at least one PBA title in their careers. Who are the other 4? Juan Banal, go!
This is the part that I don't like guessing I get quizzed all the time, and I'm like, where am I going to pull out these answers? All right, I'll give it a go, though, Andre. Let me see. I'll assume, I think Meralco had won already a championship, so that means Cliff Hodge has won, Chris Newsome has won. I know Reynel Hugnatan has won one already with Alaska. But I'm not so sure if Anjo Caram, because I know Raymond Almazan, I think, hasn't won one, but it might be Anjo Caram. I'm not sure. It's one of those Meralco boys that has been, since time immemorial with Coach Norman. So, I don't know.
Alam
Show
mo,
me the answer.
Kung meron lang akong buzzer, alam mo sa Got Talent, di ba? Binuzzer na kita kanina, patigil ka na. Tama na, awat na, Juan Banal. Mali lahat ng sinabi. Hindi pa nag-champion Meralco, bro. Ito yung tamang sagot. The correct answers are Raymond Almazan, Reynel Hugnatan, Nonoy Baclao, and Jamer Hamito. Si Almazan...
Bro, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Si Almazan, nag-champion siya dun sa Rain or Shine. Coach Yeng, 2016.
Rain or Shine. Iniisip ko nga hindi niya naabutan yun but yun, mali lahat ng hula.
Umabot siya dun. Hugnatan naman, 3 PBA titles, pero hindi sa Meralco, dati pa Coca-Cola, Alaska. Si Reynel
got it.
Si Nonoy Baclao, first PBA title niya with Petron, 2011. That was 10 years ago. Tapos, of course...
Was it his rookie year? Tama ba? No.
2011. That we have to check. Jamer Amito, I'm sure, alam mo, won a pair of PBA titles with... Barangay
Magnolia ba?
Barangay Ginebra.
Barangay Ginebra. Okay. So, alam mo, yun yung rason eh. Lagi kasi nasa finals yung Meralco, hindi lang nananalo. So hindi, wag na ako magpalusot. Okay na yun. Okay, move on na tayo.
Ito kaya mo na to for sure. Game 6 ng Meralco Magnolia.
Oo, kasi ako, kinabahan na ako eh. Sabi ko, patay na naman tayo dito kay Andre. Itong mga tanong talaga.
Kailangan mo, sisihin mo din yung mga producer natin. Ito, tomorrow, Game 6 na nga, adjustments for both Magnolia and Meralco.
Well, I think Magnolia, what we saw, like I mentioned a while ago, is a typical Magnolia team. You know, they really played the way that they didn't do anything different. You know, they just continued. It just so happened that Meralco had their backs against the wall, and they knew that they needed to really, go out or go home. Na talaga. If they don't play out, you know, leave it all out, then they go home. And so and they did make those little adjustments that are needed to give them that edge. And I mean, we're talking about Coach Norman Black, right? And so he does know what it needs to. And again, he's playing at a almost full strength team, right? We thought that this series could have gone home if Raymond Almazan did play, but then he played in, you know, immediate impact. And it's the little things that they do that set up their teammates. And that's how intentional Coach Norman Black is in the entire coaching staff of Meralco. They do understand their players well, and they do understand what it needs to set up their players well. And so at the same time, it's those little defensive mistakes. You have to understand, Magnolia has a different kind of small forwards that are matching up against the different kinds of small forwards of Meralco. And we saw that Alain Maliksi is more of your wing guard type of forward. But he played against Calvin Abueva, he played against Aris Junicio, who are more of your big type of small forwards. And the dynamics of that changes. And Coach Norman used that to create space for Alain Maliksi, you know. Footwork is different for small forwards that play like a big compared to small forwards that play like a wing. You know, and it's that perimeter defense that really Meralco started pounding on. And I think that's what Magnolia will have to now decide on what they should do to make those adjustments. But for I think for Magnolia's and for Meralco's end, they have to really get that help from the bench. Mac Bello is important. Reynel Hugnatan is important. These guys won't be able to carry the load for the next game alone. And so the rest of the team will have to help out.
Well, let's see. Yeah, another interesting game. Thank you again, Juan. Thank you for joining us. And we'll talk to you again soon. That was basketball analyst Juan Banal from the